Hey viewers and viewresses, my name is General Red Strategist. Welcome back to So You're Being Hunted. This is episode 309, so we're back here, of course, on the North Island, isn't it? Yeah, it's the North Island. Basically having a look for all the letters, books and things that we can find. My god, my inventory is an absolute clusterfuck. Look at that. So many bloody revolver bullets, and what do I actually need them for? Might as well go out and start killing some scarecrows if I can. See if maybe they got any books on them, as they sometimes do. Remember, of course, in the last episode, Phil joined me. We had a little bit of a chinwag, me and him. Life ramblings, whilst basically we continued the challenge. I deposited a load of letters and things in the barrel by the tower over here, just so I have somewhere to store them, pretty much, because I can always come back, pick them up again at some point in the future, maybe once we've cleared out all the islands and we decide to kind of bring everything together into one location. That's the thing, I still need to decide on whether there's a big building somewhere that I can use. It's just somewhere where I can store stuff. Now I'm trying to remember which villages I cleared out previously. That's the problem with getting rid of my friggin' map like an idiot. Well, I didn't deliberately get rid of it, I did it by accident, because it's so easy to click discard by accident, ladies and gents. Those of you who play So You're Being Hunted, you'll no doubt have had this problem before, right? I can't be the only one. Indeed. Okay, but we'll just clear through this village over here in the meantime. So as we're doing that, of course, I hope everyone out there is doing well. Hope they're enjoying watching me flailing around these villages. And of course, the thing is, I've actually cleared this village, haven't I? Judging by the fact that that revolver had no ammo in it. Well, shoot. I should probably have checked, shouldn't I, the footage from the previous episode before I actually started recording this one, because otherwise I'm just going to be going through the same motions again. Well, we'll clear it out just to be absolutely certain. Or rather, we'll repeat it just to be absolutely certain. But, hope you guys out there obviously are doing well. As of when I record this, it is a Thursday afternoon, and I have just finished my work duties for the day. Oh, man. Basically, I've been marking a load of dissertations that have come in at my place of work. You know that I've mentioned before, of course. I'm obviously an academic. I do things like seminar tutoring, marking of essays, stuff like that. And of course, these dissertations, these are fairly substantial pieces, 10 to 15,000 words. So of course, for a single one, when you're marking it, it can take you, 3 or 4 hours to get through it? Which, yeah, is a bit daunting, because obviously you're dealing with a piece of work that is something like maybe up to and in excess of 50 pages long. But it's just not too bad, At the end of the day, I enjoy my job. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it. And obviously, as a dissertation supervisor, of course, usually you get allocated papers that are on a topic of interest to you. So I've been marking a ton of papers recently on China and everything that's going on in that part of the world, in terms of security, military affairs, etc., etc. Very interesting stuff, yes. But I was also going to mention as well, obviously because of the whole COVID-19 lockdown at the moment, it's really changed up our working patterns at the university that I work for. Because of course, at the moment, we can't do face-to-face teaching. So instead, what that means is we have to administer a lot of our courses online. Did I just weirdly glitch into the ground then? That was a bit strange. But yeah, we have to administer a lot of our courses online and deliver them remotely. So for example, we use software now to deliver seminars. Adobe Connect is the one that we use. Okay, yeah, I've definitely cleared this village out before. That was that door that I saw with Phil before. And I must say, running a seminar remotely online is actually quite interesting. At first I was a bit the first time I ever delivered a seminar online, I always kind of felt a bit unsure about how it would go. But I must say that in some ways online seminars are kind of better in some respects than kind of seminars that you would conduct face-to-face. Just because the thing about conducting a face-to-face seminar is obviously you've got to be quite sort of assertive at times, and you've just got to be really prepared to speak up. Because the thing is, as the seminar tutor, you've got to take a very leading role to ensure that the conversation, the seminar discussion, doesn't wander off track or anything like that. So you've got to keep it anchored around the topic in question. You've got to keep the students moving towards, the key discussion points. But of course, the big sort of challenge with that is if you've got students who are very talkative, and if you have some kind of like dominant personalities in the room. And so of course, sometimes as the seminar tutor, making yourself hard. Jeez, that sounds a bit weird. Making yourself hard, making yourself heard even, obviously can be a bit of a challenge, because of course, you might be competing with the other voices. But of course, online seminars actually, I find that's less of an issue, because certainly with the software that I'm using at the moment to do that, Adobe Connect, part of the beauty of that is you can set ground rules in terms of if someone wants to speak, they have to press a button that notifies me, the seminar host, that they want to talk. And as a result of that, they can't just speak automatically. So you can sort of, direct the discussion a lot more easily in an online seminar than you could in a face-to-face one. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I thought for some reason I'd selected my torch, even though I hadn't. But no, as I was just saying, it's just been interesting. That's not to say that I don't like face-to-face seminars. Face-to-face seminars are good. Sometimes it's nice to actually be there in the room with a bunch of people, just having a chat. But of course, the online ones are just more interesting in the sense that it feels like sometimes like it's easier to control and regulate. But yeah, I always remember, when I first started kind of teaching, the thing is, I'm a very quiet person naturally by default. I'm not a loud or noisy person, hard as that may be to believe sometimes, watching some of my videos. But and obviously, as a teacher, that's a kind of like a personal flaw. I don't know if you call it a flaw. It's a personal challenge that I've had to sort of overcome. And I have, to an extent, overcome it. Because it's reflected in kind of student validations that I've had in the past. I'm capable of doing it, which is fantastic. But of course, you look at my early years of teaching, my scores on validations were, admittedly not always great, but they've got better and better as time has gone on. It's one of those things, teaching can be a challenging sort of career to go into. You go in with a lot of ideas about how your perfect class will run. It'll be amazing, we'll discuss this, then we'll discuss that, we'll discuss X, Y, and Z. Of course, on the day you get in there, and it doesn't necessarily always quite play out as you think it will. And of course, part of the challenge is how well you adapt and respond to that. Of course, I'm not, trying to brag, but based on, where I am now as a teacher, I would say I am definitely better today than when I first started teaching. But that's, true probably of any career that anybody goes into. When they start it, they won't be amazing. Their confidence might not be very high. But bit by bit, over time, they grow. And they get better and better at it. And that's certainly the case with me. Now, I don't know why I'm talking about this, because this isn't actually what I wanted to talk about. What I was actually kind of interested in talking about, though, is more about the kind of online delivery of teaching, things like that. Because I think it's interesting, in a sense, what's going on at the moment with the COVID-19 lockdown and how that's affecting working patterns. I suppose not just in academia, where I am, but also more widely across the business world. Because of course, for a long time, the kind of dominant business kind of working life model, to put it that way, has been, you go into an office somewhere, or, to a workplace, and you might, be there for what? Maybe 8-9 hours of the day, 9 till 5 or 9 till 6 or whatever, and you'll do that 5 days a week, almost every week of the year. But of course the COVID-19 pandemic raises interesting questions in the sense that, are we at a point where that kind of working pattern may start to shift? I mean, COVID-19 is not the only thing that's increasingly raising this question. There are other factors as well, like the rise of the gig economy, increasing advancements in things like information and communications technologies, and the opportunities to work remotely that those might offer. But it's just interesting to think about, because here's the thing about me. Part of the reason why I like my academic career is because I get a lot of flexibility with it, in terms of, although obviously I have a boss, I have a line manager and all that, part of the beauty is that I don't have to just be sat in an office 24/7. I can sort of come and go as of when I need to. So for example, if it's a particularly slow working day and I feel like I'm just not being productive, as productive as maybe I could be, there's no kind of rule that says I have to sit in my my little academics office for the entire day, just working away there. There's no rule to stop me basically standing up, stretching my legs, and maybe going off to the library, for example, and just picking up some books, doing some reading and study there. There's nothing, in fact, in the rules that says I can't just basically, if I've done all my seminars for the day, I don't need to hang around at the workplace. I can actually, if I want to, just go back to my flat and work from there for the rest of the day. And that is what I like about it. It's flexibility over the working patterns. It just gives that feeling that you are your own boss to an extent. And that's what I like. And that's what I think, the world could do with more things like that, in my opinion. I mean, I know not every career, not every job in the world can be done remotely from home, but I think where possible, employers maybe should think about giving the option to employees to be able to work remotely. Because I think for a long time throughout history, that kind of dominant working pattern, it's always been a case of the employees kind of chained to the desk. And I always think to myself, is that really the best way to get productivity out of people? By having them sat in a mind-numbingly boring office for 9 hours a day, 5 days a week? Is that really the best way of doing things? And I personally am of the kind of opinion that, depending on what sort of career or sector you're in, that isn't necessarily the best way of doing things, and there are probably much, much better ways of getting people to be productive. Now, I know, obviously, working from home won't be necessarily to everyone's tastes. I know some people might actually find that working from home would actually be quite distracting. Sorry, I'm just getting a bit of gas coming up from my tea. I know obviously some people would think that, I don't know if I could work from home. I feel like there'd be too many potential distractions, I'd be up and to the kettle every few minutes getting myself a cup of tea. But, at the end of the day, everybody works differently. And I think having a world where there's a lot of flexibility over working options surely is a better world, right? It just gives more choice, a bit more empowerment to the employee and all that. That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, that's just my personal view, my way of looking at things. And I just think, it's an interesting topic. Like I say, given that I think the COVID-19 lockdown has perhaps really shone a light now on this possibility, I think it's something well worth discussing. I mean, having said that, I'm obviously talking from a British perspective here, based on things that are going on here in the UK at the moment. But the reality is, probability is that other countries out there in the world, I don't know, they may well already be having this discussion, or may well have already been having this discussion long before COVID-19 occurred. I'm just going to take out the scarecrow. How you doing there? You have to stand around, don't you, 24/7 in your field? There we go. Liberated you from your harsh working conditions. Can I access his body? Yes, he has got a book. Okay, let's have a read of this one. Just get my thing as well. Is this, this isn't one I've had before, is it? I've had the Golden Arm Part 2, but not this one. This is the Golden Arm Part 1. Okay, hold on. Let me just scribble that down on here. Golden Arm Part 1. So we've got another book. Now, generally I don't think the books typically tell you much about the backstory of the world, but they're interesting nevertheless. Here was once a machine that travelled the land all over in search of a wife. It saw young and old, rich and poor, pretty and plain, and could not meet with one to its mind. At last it found a woman, young, fair and rich, who possessed a right arm of solid gold. The machine married her at once, and thought none so fortunate. They lived happily together, but, though it wished people to think otherwise, the machine was fonder of the golden arm than of all his wife's gifts besides. At last she died. The husband put on the blackest black, but for all that it got up in the middle of the night, dug up the body, and cut off the golden arm even, it hurried home to hide its treasure and thought no one would know. Yeah, I think we have seen that one before in previous maps that we've played, but always nice to see them again, isn't it? I don't actually know how many books there are in total in So You're Being Hunted. That is how many different books there are that you can find. There's probably quite a few, isn't there? What is that sound I'm hearing? Sorry, it's like a large humming sound. It's my computer. I think it's vibrating against something. Yes, I just shifted it then. That was a bit weird. I just heard this very loud humming noise. I can still sort of vaguely hear it in the background. But I think it's because my computer was pressed up against something solid. It's probably just vibrating. The vibration rather from the fans or whatever. So I've just moved it slightly. Adjusted it. I need to keep looking around for villages and stuff. Because I've been through these ones over here. But there's a ruined one over here as well. Are there any... I mean, that's just a big pine forest over there. I was also going to say, even though I don't know how many books there are in total in this game, I'm pretty sure there's about 24 letters. I may have already mentioned this, I'm not sure. But it's worth reiterating. I think I've possibly might have covered everything on this island then. Now that did involve a lot of repetition, of course, because I did end up investigating all the villages that I investigated just previously when I was joined by Phil in the last episode, but never mind. You know what, I'm going to assume that I'm going to tentatively assume that I have cleared out this island, in which case I think we'll head on to another one. So we'll head back to the centre and then we'll just follow the coastline to the next jetty and then we'll proceed onwards. What I will do is just check the tower where I've left all the other letters and things, because I still need to search for a big building where I can keep everything. That's the thing. Okay, tower is way off over there. Right, hold on. Have a sip of tea whilst I'm at it. Lovely. Okay. So, you know, that's actually an interesting topic of conversation, just going back to what I was talking about before. You guys out there, let me know in the comments, how has the COVID-19 affected your working life? Whether you're, you know, in employment, whether you're at school, at college, wherever you might be. How's it changed things up? If you're of school age, are you now having to be kind of homeschooled, taught at home? If you're of employment age, if you're an adult, have you had to, has your workplace had to shift over to remote working patterns? Whatever else have you? Right, there's quite a few things in there. What the heck? Weird. My computer is just making vibrating noises again. I think it may just be the fan. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yes. I don't know why it's making that noise. Okay, let's just put that in there. Yeah, we'll make a mental note of everything that's been left in here. And then towards, well, once we've got to a stage where we've nearly, or well, when we have cleared every village on the map, we'll come back here, or maybe I will do this off camera, I don't know. We'll gather everything together, maybe take it somewhere to one location, then review it all. That's what I'm thinking we'll do with this Literature Hunt 2.0. Okay, we'll tell you what, we'll head back to the jetty, and in fact, actually looking at, or paying attention to time, might actually be better if I wrap up the episode here, which I think I'll do, to be honest, actually. Because we cleared out this island, I feel like that's a logical place to end the episode. So, hope you all enjoyed this one then, ladies and gentlemen, episode 309 of So You're Being Hunted with me, General Red Strategist. If you enjoyed, do not forget to leave a like, comment below, subscribe, share my videos with your friends on social media and all that jazz. Facebook and Twitter links can also be found down below, along with a link to my propagandist channel for anyone who's interested in my anime content that I do from time to time. But of course, in the meantime, this is General Red, signing off everybody. Goodbye all. Interesting, of course, it's all tea-themed, because it is the actor after all. Oh, new enemy! Oh, I remember these. iPods. These are a very imaginative enemy. Got that music. Kicking off a rocket. Take him down while I hit him on the eye. Get out of it. Yeah, you do that. Take him out like so. Memories are coming back to me, everybody. Okay, took them out. Okay, well, there's a platform in front of cupping and sourcing now. Oh god, I see a ruin. And another iPod, okay. That's lactation, you can see he's got all the milk. Oh god, there's the guy up there. Oh god, I see you down there. Take out the insidious ruin.